And so with that, we're going to start off this week with our safety story, from Geela. She is one of our assistant facility managers managing several of our sites up in Canada. So Geela, it's yours. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Kenny. Yeah, so this story is very personal. This pictures that you see are of my husband. So I shouldn't get emotional, but there's a chance I might. This was 15 years ago, and yeah, so my husband was camping out with a friend in the Rocky Mountains, which is fairly close to us, but they were a couple of hours in, out of service. This is something that we've been doing since we were kids. It's just something that you do in this area. And so, yeah, he was out with a buddy. It was late. He was fixing just one of the trailer generators that wasn't working. And when he was done, he went to go say something to his friend before cleaning up, and he tripped and he fell at the fire because he had fuel on his hands and on his clothes. He essentially became part of the fire. Stop, drop, and roll was the opposite of effective. It actually made it worse. It added debris to everything else that was going on. They couldn't get the fire out. They ended up having to pull off his clothes, and what didn't come off was basically burned off. They were 2 hours away from any phone service or town, so they couldn't call anyone. My husband had gone into shock. My friend, who is notorious for not handling emergencies or blood or anything well, was able to drive my husband. They got to a clinic in a little town that was 2 hours away. He was airlifted to Calgary, where he stayed in the burn unit for several months. Then he was in and out for the next 6 months with physiotherapy and following up on skin grafts. So he suffered from third-degree burns, or full-thickness burns, I think is what they're called now, over half of his body. But he had superficial or partial thickness burns over almost his entire body. His face was burnt, his mouth and his throat were burnt. He had to learn basically how to speak again. He had to learn how to walk again. He had to learn how to use his hands and fingers again. He had, yeah, as I said, a large amount of skin grafting done, as you can see in a couple of the photos. The torso photo, that's most of his body, most of his back and his legs, and then his arm. That's both of his arms and his calves and his feet. Yeah, I mean, it was something that happened so quickly. And this was not an accident due to inexperience. We've been camping our entire lives. We've been camping on our own since we were 15. Both my husband and his friend, they're in the trades. My husband's a welder. He knows the dangers of the fire and fuel, and he knows how to be safe. And I guess to clarify as well, alcohol was not a factor in this incident. Thank goodness, or they wouldn't have been able to get out of the mountains. It's quite some treacherous roads back there. But yeah, this accident, it started with just one choice, and one thing went wrong, and it resulted in a near death and life-changing experience. We're still dealing with the fallout of these burns. My husband can't be in the sun without a shirt. Sunscreen is not enough. He has no feeling in his scars. He can only feel pressure. So it's his hands don't always work the way he wants them to. So when we play catch with my son, it can be kind of entertaining because the ball sometimes goes straight up or straight into the ground, depending on if his hand can let go. But yeah, I mean, obviously this is a huge thing, life-changing. And now, and particularly in our family, we take emergency preparedness, fire safety, first aid very seriously. Our 4-year-old is well versed in our fire drills. He's well versed in the, don't hide, get outside. We've done drills, and we have several, well, I think 6 fire extinguishers in our house that are always inspected at all times. But yeah, I guess this is just a call out for the team. You don't think it's going to happen until it does. You don't miss what you need until you need it. A fire extinguisher in this particular example could have saved my husband in a lot of ways. Could have made a huge difference. So just with your sites, make sure you have part of, well, fire safety, make sure your extinguishers, make sure everything's being looked after, make sure your emergency exits are marked and all your walkways are clear of obstruction. You don't know how people are going to react in an actual emergency. These small things can save lives when people aren't thinking straight. Your contractors that are on site, make sure that they're following protocol and procedures. Like it's one choice that can escalate into something crazy. Yeah. And so just look out for each other. So that's it for me.